Hello and welcome. I will go through the Pemulis MapMaker Subdivide parcel application. Currently running Briscat version 23, and this is MapMaker version 1306. In this demo, I will demonstrate two parcels, this smaller one and then a larger one. So let's start the application. First thing it will prompt for is to pick a point inside of the closed area, or if you have a polyline, you can select it. I will pick inside the figure, and it says select starting course. I will define parcels from the right-hand side towards the left-hand side. So I'm going to pick this lot on the right-hand side course. And then the next prompt is to pick individual frontage courses. This is used to define some calculations. So I'll define the frontage. I'll stop here. And first thing you'll notice is that the dialog is modeless, meaning that you can go out inside the drawing area and scroll around. Once you go back to the dialog, it will repaint whatever parcel design you've created. Let me just go through the first part of the dialog. Upper portion left is a button that will take you to a tutorial, this tutorial and others like it. The second part is the number of parcels to divide the main parcel into. And on the right-hand side is a recompute button. I'll talk about that in a minute. A redraw, which is basically repaint, so if you need to repaint what's in the image. And the far right-hand side is a toggle that selects from displaying just the spreadsheet in the top portion of the dialog, which is great for design purposes, or to bring up the full top of the dialog. On the left-hand side is you can define the lot line angles. You have two choices, a fixed angle or an angle relative to the frontage. Most are 90 degree to the frontage, the lot lines are, so we've defaulted to 90 degrees. You can use this button next to it that lets you pick 2 points to define that angle, and all of the parcels will be defined using that lot angle. Below it is the frontage distance, offset distance, and you'll notice we draw a line that's gray. You can pick any color that you want to define that. And let's say I make it 6. Let's set it back to 5. This will be used for calculating the frontage offset length and area column values. The middle of the dialog is for parcel statistics. It's the total area versus remaining area, which is made up of the parcels you create, and then the same thing for the frontage length. On the right-hand side is basically the output for the dialog. So you can create line work that represents the parcels as a complete closed polyline, or individual lines and arcs for the parcels, or if you just want the lot lines themselves, which is typical, you can then just check the box, which we default to insert the lot lines. You'll notice the button on the bottom right-hand corner is used to adjust and performs the action of either inserting that line work or appending parcels to the project. And you can choose not to append parcels to the project, that's fine, and you just basically are concerned about the line work, let's say. So let's go ahead and start with our design. So I can break this full parcel into two equal-sized parcels. Let's just do that. Pick the button. So we have a lot line in green that represents where those lot line would be, and the two parcels. We've calculated some things for you, the area and the frontage lengths. We can't calculate the frontage offset lengths because of the frontage offset doesn't actually extend all the way into the full lot. So those two lot lines, it doesn't extend into them, so we can't calculate. That's where you'll get a question mark. And then we also calculate the parcel width and depths, minimums and maximums. And we'll talk about the remove parcel, append parcel capabilities in a minute here. I'm going to uncheck the add parcels to a project, and you'll see that button go away. Let's subdivide this into, let's say, 8 equals. You'll notice that when you do something that might eliminate the design inside the spreadsheet, we give you a prompt that lets you decide if that's truly what you want to do, or oops, that was a mistake, I didn't mean to press that button. We're not going to just wipe out what you have, so we'll give you that option. Let's just make a couple of changes here. So we have some frontage offset lengths. Let's just change this value to 15. Watch these numbers. So they get recalculated in real time. And to do something a little weird, let's change that lot line angle to 80 degrees and then do a recompute. You can see the images of the lot lines have changed and the values calculated have all been updated. Let's set it back to 90. do a recompute parcels. And again, we're just creating ghost images as opposed to the actual line work as you make these changes, so that once you like what you have, you can then insert that geometry into the drawing, or you can append those parcels to a project. One other thing about the appending to parcels to the project is, the lot number. You can edit it if you want to. But we calculate it based on whatever the project's last lot number is. So for example, if I select a different project and do a recompute, I'll have a set of lot numbers based on that project. All right, let's now talk a little bit about the design capabilities besides just subdividing a parcel area into n number of equal-sized parcels. So you have two choices. One is to modify the lot area, and you can just edit in the dialog. Move the cursor in. I'm just typing in 800 down arrow, 800 down arrow, let's say 820 down arrow. Once I'm done, I can hit the recompute parcels. The line work will update, and the frontage lengths and the frontage offset lengths and the parcel width and depths will be recalculated based on those. If I want to use, so I have even areas, let's say, let's make this one 800 and then recompute. One other thing I want to point out here is that there's the last parcel will represent the remaining area, and we represent that remaining area parcel using a special icon. So it has a check mark indicating that it's been calculated correctly, but it has an underline underneath it, meaning it's the last parcel. It takes up all the slack of whatever design we're doing. So besides the lot area, you can change the frontage length. So I just put a check mark there, type in a frontage length, same thing, check mark, make this even 17. 18, let's say 18. So these are adjusting the frontage length, 19, and I can do a recompute. And I have new set of area calculations. So let's make some other modifications. Let's say we delete the second parcel. So this parcel right here, I've highlighted, let's delete it. Again, we'll give you that prompt. You sure you want to do that? Yes. So I have 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm skipping parcel 2. And you can see that it highlighted the lot lines in green, and this one is missing. So the application is saying that it has 7 parcels, and the one in the middle is missing. If I want to, I can then create the lot lines. I just want to show you that this will be different than if I ask it to recompute. So before I recompute, I just simply deleted parcel 2. I can insert the line work. Come over here, I'll just do a zoom and a pan so you can see. And now I've gotten rid of the parcel in the middle, but I have all these other parcels are remaining. Let's recompute. So everything is going to get recomputed in the spreadsheet. We now have 1, 2, 3. We only have 7 parcels, and you can see that the remaining parcel is taking up the slack of that deleted second parcel. So if I want to divide the last remaining parcel, I can remove it. Let's just say we select it, remove, yes. So we don't have any remaining parcels, so if I make changes, nothing gets collected or added to the last parcel. There isn't one. And let's say that we add a new parcel, and it's going to use, when you add a new parcel, it's going to use the previous parcel's data. And it's uncomputed, so it doesn't know if it's actually valid yet. That's what the question mark indicates. So I can set this one to, let's say, 15, and then I'll do a recompute. So I have a little smaller size parcel there. Let's add a new one. Again, let's just make this smaller so you can see this. Okay. Now, if I want to add the remaining part, we give you this little special action here. We tell you hold down the Shift key and press the plus button in the last row of this column. So if I do that, I'm holding down the Shift key, hitting this column. We have our remaining parcel. It's taken up all the slack, and this is the remaining leftover. We look at our parcel statistics and do a recompute here, and you can see the remaining area left over, and there's no remaining frontage length. So that's how you add that remaining parcel back in. Just hold the Shift key and hit the plus in the last column. And of course, if I try to add a new parcel, I don't have any remaining area to work with, so we give you a dialog that indicates. And if you're happy with everything, again, you can just insert the line work however you'd like the line work to be. If you don't want any line work, don't select it. And then if you just want to add it to the workspace, just select the append parcels to a project and then select the project you want to add it to. And if you want to make sure the numbering is correct, just do the recompute parcels. And that's how simple it is to use. When you're done with this design area, just exit the dialog. We'll give you another prompt. Are you sure you want to exit? Just to make sure. Answer is yes. Okay, so next let's work on this larger area. So again, I'll select the subdivide parcels and I'll pick inside this area, and I want to work on the starting course. Let's start designing parcels from this upper right hand corner, working our way around, and I'll select what represents the frontage. You don't have to pick the frontage in consecutive order if you don't want to. We'll connect them as they need to be appropriately. I'll hit return. So let's say we divide this into 8 areas. Now it's going to divide that 22,000 square meters into 8 sections, but it's only got a right of way that's defined by the highlighted area. So what happens? Well, it was only able to create 4 parcels. How do I subdivide this into more parcels? Because you can see what's happening as it goes around the corner. It can't find areas as we want. So let's just say we make this 32. Compute. Okay, well, that looks a little weird. So here's the way to handle this particular situation. So I'm going to exit out of the dialog. I'm going to hit just a redraw and a line over in this area right here. So I'm going to define parcels up to this area, and then I can work on this section separately, and perhaps best used would be the create parcels along a frontage. So let's go back to subdivide, pick inside of an area. You can see it's now just narrowed the area to what is workable. Click the starting course and the frontage, subdivide it into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, let's say 12. Okay, so that's a little more reasonable, and we're getting something fast and perhaps workable. We'll see. So we have some existing lot areas in there, so I could type those in. Let's say 689.3, 694.4, 747.8, and 747.8. And I'll also just turn on the old lot lines. That's what they looked like before. And I'll do a recompute. And you can see those lined up nicely. And you can see the ones here, as they get out further, they're off. The trick is just to define the area that you want to work with to be a smaller area. And one way is just to close off the extended area that you're working with. So that's a short overview of the Subdivide a Parcel from Pemulis Mapmaker. I'm going to exit and just point out that you can run the application from the ribbon, from the pull-down menu, and also do a right click over the top of a project and select Subdivide Parcel. Thank you very much for your time.